Air travel is one of the most widely used methods of transportation by people all over the world. Every day, every hour, every minute, there are planes in the sky carrying thousands of people from one place to another. The truth is that flights have always been considered one of the most comfortable and practical ways to travel. That's what everyone thinks of when it comes to flying. But what happens when things go wrong? Get ready, because this time, we're going to see the creepiest things that have happened and been witnessed during flights. Number 7. In 2017, on a flight operated by Air China, something very strange happened. An incident forced the captain to turn back to Beijing, the city they had taken off from just a few minutes earlier. This was due to an elderly woman who began to have an episode that was very difficult to explain. She began to tremble and at one point collapsed. When she came to, she didn't want much help from others. She even claimed that medicine wouldn't help her much. She said there were things that were very hard to explain that possessed her, causing everything that happened to her and making the plane turn back. Number 6. Corpses transported on the plane. Alive? It's very common for people to transport the bodies of their loved ones on flights, especially when they died in a city different from where they lived. There are many cases of people who transport them by air. This really doesn't cause any problems, but there have been reports of some truly strange cases. For example, there was an elderly woman who claimed she was cold and feeling unwell. The flight attendant who attended to her went to look for her son in another part of the plane. When she told him what had happened, the son explained that his mother had passed away and was being transported on the plane. There's a similar story about a man who asked the flight attendant to let his wife know that he was okay. When she did, the wife told her the same thing as in the previous case. It's a strange way to send a final message. Number 5. The ghost flight attendant. There are people who truly love their jobs and really enjoy what they do. So much so that they dedicate their entire lives to their work. But what happens when even after death you still love your job? Would you be capable of haunting the places where you worked in spectral form? This is the case of a ghost flight attendant who has been seen on several flights of an airline whose name is unknown. Passengers have seen her walking straight down the aisles without looking at anyone, still wearing her usual flight attendant uniform. This clearly causes fear and uncertainty among the passengers. Those seeking help go to the other flight attendants to tell them about the incident. They certainly know her and have also seen her in her spectral form. Among the workers, she is known as the senior flight attendant. Number 4. Snakes on a plane. There are times when fiction is able to imitate and even surpass reality. Surely you've heard of the movie Snakes on a Plane from 2006, which starred the renowned actor Samuel L. Jackson. His fans undoubtedly showed how much they loved the movie, but everyone knew it was just a movie and nothing more. At that time, it was considered impossible for a snake to be inside a flying plane. It was known to be pure and simple fiction. However, for better or worse, in 2016 this became a reality, specifically on a Mexican flight of a well-known airline. I said something, it was coming. What? Where? Where? The passengers noticed something starting to appear in the upper area of the overhead luggage compartment. As it came down, the body of a huge green snake became more visible. When it fell onto the floor of the plane, it caused a huge commotion among all the passengers. There was no other option but to make an emergency landing in Mexico City. The truth is, to this day, no one can explain how that snake got there. Number 3. A very mysterious stench. Every smell that our nose can detect always has a reason, a place it comes from. It's not at all normal for a smell to reach our nose and for us to be unable to identify where it comes from. Things get worse when a large number of people notice it. But not only that, it's such a strong and unpleasant smell that it overwhelms them. This was the case on a JetBlue flight from California to Florida. At one point during the flight, a few hours after takeoff, a smell began to be noticed. Not a pleasant one, but a truly disgusting one. That's why everyone described it as a stench. The strangest thing of all is that it was so strong it filled the entire plane. Because of this, an emergency landing had to be made. Some people had to go to the hospital, and others urgently needed oxygen tanks. What's the strangest part of all? They were never able to identify where the smell was coming from. Number 2. Ghost children. After what happened on September 11th, airplanes now have monitors in the cockpit so that pilots can also keep an eye on everything happening in the plane's galleys. That way, it's supposed to be, everything is more protected and monitored. However, on a regional airline flight with short domestic routes, other things were seen. This is the case of a flight captain who saw two small children playing on his monitor. According to him, they were very close to the entrance of the cockpit, which was neither very safe nor appropriate. When he mentioned it to the other flight attendants, they all said they hadn't seen any children. In the area he specified, there was no one there. This is the strange case of two ghost children who truly surprised this flight captain. Number 1. Gremlins. We've already talked about gremlins in real life, not inside a plane in mid-flight, but in another context of our history, specifically during World War II. Here we once again come across a topic where reality and fiction come very close to each other. So close in fact that they practically blend together. While gremlins are small characters from a very well-known movie, what makes us so sure they weren't inspired by real life when talking about them? The truth is, there are not only testimonies about these kinds of creatures from World War II, but also claims of having seen them on some flights. Not inside the plane, fortunately, but rather on the outside, hanging from the wings or clinging to the engines, just as the World War II reports describe. Zone 0. The yellow one. To wrap up, we have a bonus for you. An extra chilling story related to airplanes and flights. In this case, it's about a plane that no one wants to fly during the nighttime hours. This is about the Yellow One, the name given to a plane from Denmark's Sterling Airlines. Both the crew and airline staff who have traveled at night on the Yellow One have experienced strange occurrences. The most common is hearing footsteps on the roof, when you're at who knows how many meters above the ground. As if that weren't enough, those in charge of cleaning the plane after it lands don't want to do it at night either. They claim that if they do it at those hours, they hear very strange noises, like the toilet flushing by itself. There's also talk of the ghost of a woman who roams the aisles. Some say that many years ago, a woman died on that plane, and apparently she never left it. Planes are surrounded by all kinds of mysteries. There are planes that have traveled to the future, others that have taken off on their own without a pilot, and even planes that landed with skeletons on board. If you want to learn about all these stories, here are the videos.